Okay. Is this thing on? That's the hope. Just had to check if the door was closed for the cats. All right. Is it working? It's working. I am the scariest thing that I could think of, which is a migraine. So that is it. So I think for anyone who understands migraines, on the one side, you're totally normal and pretty okay. And then the other side, it just feels like even touching your skin, it's like burned off and it's terrible and sounds hurt, so my ear is bleeding and things like that, light hurts. And I also use the parts of my hair that have fallen out. I figured may as well use them for the costume, so that is what I am. All right. So what do we think? It's okay. I did it kind of quickly. I had to do it in like 10 minutes because the rest of the stuff this morning took longer than anticipated, but I think it's okay. I think it came out okay. Right, the migraine personified. Maybe we should add that to the thing so we won't get a bunch of questions. The description, my costume, a migraine. There we go. Save. That's it. Take me to your bleeder. That is for the alien vampire landing upon Earth. Thank you, Shane. All right. Canine drill instructor. So you work with like military dogs? Is that what that is? Okay. Yeah, I guess we need somebody to give those puns. Tickle hasn't been around in a while. So the idea for today's stream was just to read some of your guys' submissions for different like scary stories. Basically just things that are weird that have happened to you. So they don't necessarily have to be super scary or anything, but just, okay, that was weird. You know, what do we think it could be? And then if possible, I don't know if it'll get us taken off for copyright strike or anything temporarily, but I'd like to see if we can check out this TikTok. If we can. There's like a TikTok compilation, so we can try to check it out. All right. Why is everyone dressing up now instead of tomorrow? It's Halloween on my end. But I think for a lot of people, they'd rather celebrate Halloween on a Saturday. But it is Sunday here. It is Halloween here, so that's why I am dressed up. But I dress up a lot. I think I'm sort of the spooky teacher, I guess, and you know, everything is Halloween in my classroom anyway. Oh, that's interesting, Canine. I mean, that's kind of a funny story now to tell, I guess. Dustin, good morning. But speaking of Halloween on Saturday, I am a little worried. We'll see if it happens, so we'll see if I called it or not. Unfortunately, there were a lot of people that went to this district called Itaewon. Itaewon is it's a district that has a lot of foreigners, but it also attracts like a young Korean crowd as well, you know, like their early 20s kind of crowd. And, you know, both groups tend to enjoy Halloween. So unfortunately, last night, there were a lot of people just not wearing their mask and super crowded together. So, you know, we can pretty easily anticipate that this will be a super spreader event. And we'll see if the Korean media is fair about it, and say, you know, this was done by a bunch of irresponsible fools, or if they're going to say it was done by a bunch of irresponsible foreigners specifically. So I actually took a couple pictures of myself last night just working on my my paper that it's actually due tomorrow, but I finished it 2 days ago, but I've waited because I want to date it October 31st because I'm a dork. So I'll submit it today, but I was working on it yesterday, and I sent a picture to a coworker just in case in the future we have to provide an alibi to prove that we weren't one of the foolish foreigners futzing around in Itaewon. So that's exciting. Yeah, the one that you're supposed to wear a mask. Exactly, Menno, exactly. Why can't I see everyone's chat? Paul, I'm not sure. At the top of your chat, there might be a little arrow or a little caret that says top chat, and then you can press it, and it might show top chat, and then the other alternative is live chat. So all messages are visible. Yeah. That might help. That's fine, Chris. Have fun, but just avoid. Keep the mask on. Keep it on, okay? If costumes from Squid Game are popular, I'll just cover my face with a real squid. Actually, people put a dried squid on the face when they deliver gifts to the bride's family. That's interesting. Well, I haven't been able to see or hear. Why did they do the dried squid? Squid Game costumes were pretty popular. I saw a couple of them in like these live TikToks some foreigners made to show that it's a bunch of Koreans too. So that way it's proof that it's not just a bunch of foreigners, because we all know it's going to happen. When we had another event, I don't remember what it was, but I think it was in 2020, there was another outbreak from Itaewon, and some of the Christian news groups had characterized it as occurring in gay nightclubs. So because of that, a bunch of people didn't want to take time off work to say, hey, I was in that area, I got to get tested for COVID. Because if your boss chooses, you can still get fired for being gay. And you don't even have to be gay, they just suspect it, because it wasn't just gay nightclubs, it was just a bunch of clubs were open in Itaewon, and people were going to clubs and bars and doing what people do in clubs and bars, which is getting very close together with no mask. But because they had characterized it in the media as a gay club issue of foreigners, then a bunch of people didn't want to either out themselves or perceive to out themselves. So they just hoped for the best and kept going to work, and then passed on, COVID later. So, they really got to be careful with how they do this. Oh, that's good, Chris. That's good. Don't forget to breathe in the alcohol as well. Really helps to kill the bacteria, the virus. Don't do that. What do I teach? I teach social studies. Do Koreans celebrate Halloween? It's getting more popular. When I came here 10, 11 years ago, it wasn't really a thing. But now you can go to Daiso, which it's kind of like a Dollar General or Dollar Tree or Pound Shop kind of place. You can go there and there's like a Halloween section, especially for little kids that go learn English. They want us to share it as like, oh, this is a holiday. Kind of like if you had if you had some like Mandarin teacher for little kids, you'd want them to celebrate Lunar New Year, for example, right? So it's the same kind of idea. They want us to share that with the kids. So the kids, they dress up. And again, I was here, 10 or 11 years ago. So those kids are now adults, right? Or very close to being adults. So they're the ones now having fun celebrating Halloween. A lot of them have studied or traveled to foreign countries. They've celebrated Halloween in other countries. So, they like to bring it back. It's fun. Who doesn't like to dress up and have fun, right? So that is it. Yeah. Foreigners in Korea, stay away from other foreigners, especially those in Itaewon, if you want to stay safe. Yeah, that's, I have somebody that, it's a cousin of mine. He got stationed over here, which is exciting. And of course, he and his buddies, went there. And I just was texting him like, listen, if you keep your dang mask on, if you see somebody not wearing a mask, yell at him for it. That way other people see that not all foreigners are behaving this way. I would remove myself from that personally, or take video or photos to prove that you're not around a bunch of people. because there was some talk, I don't, it could just be a rumor, but it was something I read on one of the news outlets, that foreigners breaking the quarantine or the social rules for this can face deportation. So yeah, that's exciting. Let's see. Fired on suspicion of being gay. Yeah, I mean it's kind of at the discretion of your boss. I'm trying to think of any bosses that I've had that would have done that. Maybe one. Yeah. I don't think, there's a lot of people that just don't care, but it's still a possibility, and nobody, nobody knows, you know what I mean? Until you have to cross that bridge, and, you don't know if you're going to be employed after that, get to wear that stupid purple wannabe Navy Marine Corps utility outfit like Ralphie in A Christmas Story. Are you talking like the blue coveralls? Up until 1970s, homosexuality was considered an illness in Sweden. It kind of stopped when a whole bunch of people called in sick for feeling a little gay. I remember you telling me that, and I think that was great. Is it possible that you will have to prove that you weren't even at the event? Is there an innocent until proven guilty there? I'm at very low risk of it, and I got to get tested anyway. So I got to get tested soon because of my biopsy. So I got to go get a biopsy done, and they won't let you in the OR unless you've passed your COVID test, which makes sense. So I've got to get tested anyway, and yeah. So they blame the out groups, foreigners, gay people. I mean, which country doesn't? I think that's what people. I think we forget that the people are just people, and we can't deport the foolish citizens who act a fool, but we can deport the foolish immigrants that act a fool, and I think people are very strict about that. Like, you come to my country and you're gonna disobey these rules about health and safety, get out. I think that's a very normal, like, common kind of feeling. How dare you come to my country? We opened up our country to you, and you treat us this way. Get out of my country. I think everybody would feel that way, honestly. Yeah. Have you ever done vaped alcohol? No, I've never done that. Ring, ring, bring out your dead. Yes, exactly. Mongolia has their own writing system, but where did you see what higher? I wonder if Mongolians always use the Cyrillic and what was before that. I see. No, so they use Cyrillic pretty recently in terms of history, but as Rats has said, they had their own writing system. It looked really interesting. It's kind of swirly. It reminds me a lot of some Ethiopian type of writing. Did you show? I didn't do any of the stories yet. We're just kind of relaxing in. The ink from the squid is supposed to repel evil spirits. Interesting. My previous big boss is a JW elder, but a really nice guy. Well, that's good. Love the makeup. Thank you, Nikki. I'm a migraine. It's the scariest thing I could think of. Let's see. I actually find the reason why people dress as a ghost or dead on Samhain or Halloween is really amusing. I mean, the Celtic tradition. It also has to do with the Christian tradition. There's some interesting traditions about this time of the year being when the veil between the physical world and the spirit world being thinner. So this also happens in I think it's some parts of Chinese culture, but it might be Southeast Asian, and it might be an overlap of that influence, of Chinese influence. So don't exactly quote me on it, but there's this idea of like leaving gifts out for the spirits, so that way they don't come and harass you, basically. So I mean, if you think about it, you see these ultra religious people leaving a bunch of food and money outside the house because they're afraid demons are coming. What are you gonna do? You're gonna dress up like a demon. You're gonna go pick up that stuff. It ain't there. Knock, knock. Hey, I don't see no treats. You want a trick? I'll kill your family. Oh, here's, money. All right, cool. Here's pie. Cool. That's that's one of the origins. But in the United States, the reason it got so crazy, Halloween was banned and Christmas was banned, with the first European colonizers coming over, because they were, basically the Christian Taliban. They were ultra fundamentalists. The reason they had left England is because they were upset that religion was less oppressive in the government. They wanted the more oppressive religion, and when it got less oppressive, they're like, nope. And some of the other people to come as well were just looking for work and stuff. So it wasn't only these quote unquote pilgrims. But yeah, so Christmas was banned. It was too pagan. There's a lot of drunkery and stuff going on. And Halloween was banned. But then with the Industrial Revolution and more people coming over from Europe, they brought over their traditions and things. But Halloween had gotten really crazy. Like kids are running around setting things on fire. Like people were just going nuts. And it was a lot of youth doing it. So some of the people in different communities thought, what could we do to occupy the youth so they're not out running around and setting things on fire? What if we have costume contests and games and prizes and candies and so on? So they turned it into like this event to keep the youth occupied, so they weren't out there setting things on fire and killing animals and whatever. And those people grow up and they enjoyed Halloween as kids, so they're gonna do it for their kids. And that's one of the reasons it's such its own thing in the United States compared to some other places. Yeah. Let's see what you guys are writing here in the chat. Have you tried Vietnamese coffee? Yes, it's super, super good. There is a place here in like Korea. They brought over, it's this Vietnamese coffee place, but they do a lot of stuff with coconut. So good. But I do have my own coconut coffee anyway. I do recommend powdered coconut cream. I could just get it on iHerb. Mix that with your coffee. Super good. Is the anti-gay sentiment in Korea a local phenomenon, or is it an import from the Christian West? It's both. So Confucianism does not look well on being gay. You can see that in China as well still. So, but these days, a lot of people don't really care. Ideas of like transgenderism is showing up more in Korean dramas, and the people are not, it's not like as a joke. For one show, I think it was called Itaewon Class, the character being trans was pretty, like, it wasn't the most important part of the story, but it was the most important part of that character's story. Maybe not the most important, second most important. So they really tried to develop that and show the person was just a person, and they're just trying to improve cooking. Like they just wanted to be a better cook, and them being transgender, that was there, but it wasn't the most important part of the character. Another one, I think it's called Mad About You or something Crazy for You or something like that. They had a character who you didn't know. It was just a character, and that character looked male but dressed up to present as female, and you didn't know why. It wasn't spoken of as this person's trans, or they are just a person who chooses to do this like recreationally, like that's just how they choose to express themselves or something. That wasn't really clear, but there were these older ladies that were harassing this person, saying, oh, this person's a pervert and everything. This must be this person that we're trying to catch who was flashing the locals. And the main character, the main male character, comes up and says, what are you talking about? What's wrong with you? This person didn't do anything. you guys know him. He's, he's at the, you know who this is. You know this person. You know he's not like that. Well, then how come he's dressed up as a woman? Who cares? That's what he said. Who cares? He's doing what he wants. Possible idea with misgendering, but whenever later on, they did get I think the correct gender. You can't really gender, I think, in Korea. That's the other issue. There's like you don't really say he or she, you say the person's name usually. So I don't know if they were referring to the person as the name they knew or as this woman. So I just forget how they were referring to them. But it is, it's something that a lot of people are just realizing. It's just, there's a lot of stuff to be mad about in the world. Somebody wanting to express themselves in a non-harmful way is not really something to be mad about. And there are still some people that, they protest pride and things, so pretty violently sometimes. The uniform is woodland camo using purple, gray, black, and white with a matching 8-point cover hat. I mean, what are you going to blend into with that? Let's see. What made me think of Outer Mongolia is they sometimes are confused with Koreans. Who confuses them with Koreans? Let's see. Bloody Puritans, yes. I think it's not really a Christian tradition. Oh, it's not. I'm just saying they had their own tradition about it as well. That's all. Yeah. Of course, there's older stuff than Christianity, and they really stapled their religion on top of it. They really did. Let's see. I should use my live stream. I should use the door to post the topic for my live stream. What's the door? Oh, the door. Oh, I like it. I like that. That's a good idea. Give us candy or we'll burn the town down. Sounds pretty gangster. I know, right? I know. I've tried the Maui Brewing Company's coconut porter. I quit drinking and never got to try it while I was drinking. Yes, the banh mi is also delicious. Let's see. How do you refer to a person if you don't know their name? There's a polite way to say you, and then like there's a you. That's the polite you. So there's a you for like your friend, which is like no, and then there's the you that's like 당신. Like I don't know who you are, but I'm gonna say you. Otherwise, they refer to him as his apartment number, and there's like a little addition that you add to indicate that you're referring to it as a person respectfully, and then there's also like a Mr. Ms. kind of thing, but it's gender neutral. It's C. So I could say, for example, if you lived in like apartment number 101, I could be like 101C or 101 Nim. And then that would be like, I don't know you, but I know this is the apartment you live in, and that's how I'm going to refer to you. So you kind of refer to the person in their social capacity. So if you're hanging out with your manager, you still refer to them as manager. Like you don't refer to them as a friend. It's kind of like in the military. When you're off duty, you still call the person corporal. Happy Halloween. Don't forget to inspect your candy. You might eat candy corn by accident. Candy corn is look, poll. Candy corn, absolutely yes or absolutely not. I'm absolutely yes. And somebody put a picture of like candy corn on pizza, I would eat it. I would eat it unironically. I would eat it. I think that sounds fabulous and delicious. I would absolutely eat candy corn on pizza. I would eat it. Corn is the only food I don't like. People look at me as though I'm crazy when I say that it's engineered to taste good. I think that's why people look at you crazy. Korea has many people who don't feel comfortable with gay people, but there hasn't been systemic discrimination until recently. The Christian thing definitely didn't help. And again, that they've attacked people at Pride. It's really terrible. And then they'll lie and say like in their group chats, somebody murdered, like, oh, one of the gays pushed one of our good Christian people in front of a truck and the person got run over and they died. Like, it never happened. Nothing even similar happened. But they'll dump people out of wheelchairs. You know, it's horrible. You have a tin of surströmming. Well, good. That's something I want to try. Never had a migraine. Is the Too Faced style lipstick just to look neat, or is it part of the migraine experience? Part of the migraine experience. So, like, one side you feel very normal. That's the thing. Migraine it actually comes from the Greek, I don't know, but it has to do with like hemisphere, like half of the face. So one side you're normal, and the other side you feel like everything is way too sensitive. So like if you touch your skin, it just hurts. And so I put it where I normally hurt. Some people hurt a lot in the jaw, in the neck. I get some in the back of the necks, but I didn't do it because you guys wouldn't see it. So if you touch here, it feels as if like I have a serious burn. It just, my skin hurts. My ears hurt like when there's sound. That's one of the big reasons I actually turned off ads, is because for me, when I'm trying to listen to something and then I hear an advertisement on YouTube, it hurts. It hurts because those ads, I don't know what is wrong with YouTube, why the ads are so darn loud. It hurts. So I turned off ads because I don't like ads. And then the light hurts, you know, so and you also like my face leaks, but I didn't want to put too much like coming out of my face, but my face leaks too. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's true. Obyung was writing like ajashi, ajima. So there's like, you can say that like middle-aged person. So middle-aged person, yeah. How would you say that? Like, hey guy, or hey lady, maybe. Yeah. Hey man, excuse me sir, that kind of thing. Yeah. Like the half dead, it's half migraine. Sorry, I knew I would have to keep explaining it, don't worry. Sugar is sugar. Oh, you just don't care. You love it anyway. Sugar is sugar. Gotcha. Let's see. Arizona doesn't care where it comes from. It's crazy here. Josh, just be careful with the profanity. It does have to be minor friendly. Ride a motorcycle without a helmet but can't lane split. Oh, that's weird. Candy corn's great. Good. Candy corn, pumpkin, good. Okay. Had surströmming 3 times. It tastes like chocolate fudge with sprinkles. Don't like candy corn. Gross. Let's see. My dad used to babysit my daughter. He'd feed her candy corn before he picked her up. Good. That's smart. I'm surprised they still let you mail it. You can't mail anything to Australia. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to mail something to Australia and it's too much. So a migraine hitting both sides would just be the worst. So it wouldn't be a migraine. But let me tell you, like when I first had a migraine, I thought something was seriously wrong and I needed emergency services. Like I was so, yeah, it was bad. You get a tingling sensation in your arm before a migraine. I don't get that. Mine is right next to the scapula. So there's that muscle, what is it, the rhomboid muscle or something, right next to the scapula. That's where mine goes, yeah. And then it feels like this starts to tighten, like almost as if I covered my face in glue and then the glue starts to tighten. That's kind of how it feels. Let's see. I was told that it was a double migraine. I've had them switch sides. And as they're switching sides, they'll do that. I did have one, well, yeah, I guess I did have one just this week. That double migraine. It was right here. And I didn't know what was going on. I thought, all right, I'll take my meds, didn't work, ice didn't work, and I have an injection, and I said, if this doesn't work, this is not a migraine, I have to go to the emergency room. Like that's how bad it feels. Like you get it and you think, is this what an aneurysm feels like? Like, am I gonna die? And then you find out, oh, it's just a migraine. Like, great, you know. The words they pick up and don't, it's so random. Yeah, don't worry about it. General long walks work wonders on my figure. That's good. What do vegetarian zombies eat? Grains. That's good. I had my students and they were zombies and I was like, you guys have died, but you still show up to school. Is it for your grades? And nobody laughed except for me. I was gonna say I like your zombie get up, but you're a migraine. It's inventive. Yeah, it's the scariest thing I could think of. Speaking of candy corn, love I will eat Sour Patch Kids until my tongue bleeds. I love them. Several visual migraines lately. No pain, but so much visual disturbance. It was almost hallucinating. Looked like a biblical angel. Yes, I've had those as well. Where I get super dizzy and everything just like wobbles and it feels like somebody grabbed my shoulders and head and they're just shaking me. That's what I see. And of course I know that's not happening, but that doesn't give me my sense of balance back, you know? So I don't know what a J.L. Hammett eraser is. Why did the teacher wear sunglasses indoors? Because the students were so bright. Oh my God. No, I wear sunglasses indoors because of my migraines. That was my answer. That was my answer. Let's see. I felt as you did before in Florida. I would imagine because of that air pressure. Just Googled Halloween puns. Please don't. I assume your pupils like you, but also think you're a total weirdo. Yeah, absolutely. I told them I want them to be 95% Miss Lemon is pretty cool. 5% I don't know if she's gonna like put a spell on me. So yeah, but it's also good because it lets the weird students know they can totally be a weirdo. So one of the students for geography, I gave them the option to just choose your own adventure, basically write your own rubric and tell me what you're gonna do and present on something that's super interesting to you that has to do somewhat with what we talked about this quarter. And we talked about the planets and stuff. So one student was like, they did because I knew they would want to, and so I suggested it, and they just went with it. The Hale-Bopp comet and had the Heaven's Gate cult, you know, because they knew that they could just turn this in, and the teacher would be, yeah, right, all for it. I am your Hallow Queen, okay. Mumflower tea is supposed to be good for a migraine. I've been doing ginger. Actually, somebody had recommended ginger, and it didn't work at first, and then it started working. Let's see. I'm not gonna read any more of these puns, y'all. Wow. Actually, Paul, I don't even know. I'm not a programmer. It's why kids like their cool uncle who's usually the black sheep of the family. Exactly. I wonder what a visual migraine does to a blind person. I guess it would depend on what type of blindness they have. Yeah. What did Dracula say? No. How was it? My best ones. The best ones, somebody did the Milgram experiment and they did a really good presentation on it. They had recorded it 1,000,000 times, they said, and I was like, oh, I feel this pain. Let's see. There was a really good one about Korea's music changes and how that reflected the culture after the war. I learned something from it. I thought it was great. There was also... I'm trying to think of any of the essays were really good. There were some essays that were just solid, but not like, oh, this is something I'll remember for a while, you know. There was another one where some students worked together and they did hairstyles in Korea for the past 100 years and why those showed up in Korea, like what was going on in the culture at the time. Yeah. So that was good too. I still think that one of the best of all time was just a student trying to recreate some of the anatomy, the anatomical art that was used by like early, doctors and stuff. They did it very TikTok style, and they just really nailed it. They crammed so much information and awesomeness into like a minute 40. There was also a really good one about time travel and pandemics that was submitted as an Instagram account, and the person was traveling through time. There was another student who wrote about me and had met me while they were traveling through time and said, "Oh, so this is why my teacher has so many different outfits from so many different time periods." And I thought, okay, you know what you're doing. So that was a good time. All right. Let's see. I don't want to be anything that people call normal nowadays. Exactly. I totally agree. I would make a skeleton joke, but you wouldn't find it very humorous. I always find the humorous jokes humorous. I don't know why. It's just an easy way. Like, my favorite is, I found this humorous, and then it's just the bone. I don't know why. I just love it. We all know the word essay means try. I didn't know that. I mean, then hopefully they need to try a little harder sometimes. What's what problem? The lemon, my average Time Lord, exactly. I love how your student explained your wardrobe with historical fiction. Yeah, it was good. When cyclists walk their bikes with them, it blinks the right way to trigger a migraine. I get a lot of them during this time of the year. I would recommend tinted sunglasses. That's why I wear them even at night. If you wear your sunglasses at night, not only are you having to keep remembering that 80s song while you have them on, but you also have a really hard time with just the darkness that happens, and then the bright lights just still seem super bright because everything else is way too dark. So if you wear something like the yellow tinted glasses, I like those at night. They are pretty good at still subduing colors or subduing the brightness, but it also kind of evens out the brightness, so it's not everything's not super dark. Yeah, the student figured me out. I know, he nailed it. It's cool because the student, he doesn't speak very much in class. He never did. And then this writing was like, one of the students, I almost cried. Like his story was, because that was the thing. You could choose to be a time traveler and just write a fiction kind of thing. His story was so sad. I was very moved by it. I thought, wow, this is great. It's so good. Like, just the way he wrote it about how I forget if like he found another person like him, and he was like, finally I have someone and I won't be alone, and then that person, like, they died or something, and it was so sad. And but still it was still his story. It was very good. It was very good. I wouldn't remember a song with the Blues Brothers quote. Okay, that's fair. All right. Yes, I know. You're welcome. The song. Favorite horror movie? Mine is The Mist or Silent Hill. That's a good question for you guys as well. Favorite horror movie? For me, for religious horror movie, I really like The Exorcism of Emily Rose. And horror movie, because I like a lot of them. I'm trying to think of any that's like super scary that I dig. The Exorcism of Emily Rose is one I rewatch. I'll rewatch that a lot. Halloween movie, I still like The Craft and Donnie Darko. I just rewatched Donnie Darko. Gonna try the glasses. Yeah, I recommend it. If I ever have tinted sunglasses on, it's because I'm trying to deal with a migraine right now. So I really, really recommend it. I have them in many colors, so try them in different colors. For me, yellow seems to be really good. Red as well. Red, I don't know as much at night, but on like a really bright day, the red glasses are really good. You can message me on Discord, but I just get mine on AliExpress because they're cheap, and if they're not the right color, like I try them and the color just kind of sucks, then, you know, it wasn't a big deal because they was really cheap. So I do recommend AliExpress for that. I guess Shine is what a lot of people use, so that might be more accessible to you if you already have an account. But you can just ask me for those. I haven't seen Midnight Mass. Have I heard about the 486 or 586 generation in Korea, born in the 60s? No, I've heard of, obviously, the Miracle of Han River and the 1984 Gwangju incidents. Yeah. The others, because the ending is so smart, the woman and the kids and the ghost not being haunted by ghosts. Oh, being ghosts and not being haunted. Yeah, what was that one? The Others, yeah, that was really good. It had what? Nicole Kidman in it, right? That one was hard to watch though, because the mom was way obsessive controlling, and it was just hard to watch. So optimistically cynical, can we avoid like sexual jokes? Because I did mention, you know, we do want to keep this minor friendly. Yeah. Idiocracy, yeah, that's unfortunately a good humor, but also sad because it's probably true. All right. No, don't be sorry. If you can delete it, you can just delete it. I don't know if I remove it, it might remove you. That's why I don't want to delete it. But if you can delete it, that would be adequate. That's all. All right. So let's get to the comments. The Wicker Man with Christopher Lee, not Nicolas Cage. That was good. I haven't seen either one. Anything based on Stephen King? I don't know about that. I'm not the biggest fan of Stephen King. The mom got weirder and weirder. You knew something was wrong, but you didn't know what. Yeah. The Lamb movie, you mean Silence of the Lambs? That was, yeah, I think that's pretty good. Definitely. The Fog from the 1980s, that was crazy. And the Blob was another one. A lot of those movies from the 80s, they were just crazy though. What was the other one? Not The Ice. Oh my gosh. The Thing. Yeah, that one was interesting. That was a good one. There was also Drag Me to Hell. That's really good. That's really good as a horror movie, but it's also really good as an eating disorder movie. Apparently that was the one of the underlying tones there. Yeah. Let's see. For Alien, I don't know. I didn't think it was scary. I thought it was really good. I didn't think it was scary. Let's see. There's an old horror movie called The Bad Seed. I haven't seen that. The People Under the Stairs. Yes, that's that. One that was just kind of gross was Critters. The Critters franchise. I hope these Halloween puns. I'm not reading your Halloween puns, Ratso. All right, so for these, we're gonna read them. If you guys want to try to figure out what it could be, I don't think anybody spoke against that. So this first one was submitted by a user called The Third. Back when I was in middle school, I fell asleep one night on the couch in the living room. This couch was next to a very large window, which was about 15 to 20 feet wide and 6 feet tall. So about 5, what am I thinking? 5 or 6 meters? No. Yes. And about 2 meters tall. Okay. So outside the window is the front porch. The window faces a streetlight, and at night, Tree branches and the pillars on the front porch would cast shadows into the room. I woke up one night unable to move. It was a feeling similar to trying to punch someone in your dreams, but much worse. I tried to say something and could not speak either. I tried to scream, but even then I could not make a sound. It's difficult to describe the unease I felt at the time. It was unlike any feeling I had felt before. There isn't a word for the weird sense of dread I began to feel. I couldn't move my head, but I could move my eyes, and as well as open and shut them. I didn't see anything unordinary, but for some reason I felt as though someone or something was watching me from the porch, just outside of my view. I felt this someone or something wanted to do me harm. As I looked around the room, in the corner of my peripheral vision, I caught a glimpse of movement. The shadows of the tree branches moved in such a way, I was convinced someone had quickly brushed past them. I don't remember if I heard something or only imagined hearing something because I was panicking. But whatever I heard, it sounded like someone opening the front door. Our front door is about 15 or 20 feet from where I was on the couch. Again, it's so difficult to put into words. I felt some kind of unfriendly presence. I didn't hear footsteps, but I heard some type of apparent movement. I sensed someone or something moving towards me. I closed my eyes because that's all I could do. After I closed my eyes, it felt as though there was something standing over me, watching me. At this point, I honestly thought I was going to be abducted by aliens. I never believed in humanoid aliens who visited Earth in flying saucers, but in this moment I did. I kept my eyes shut. Eventually, I was able to move my leg a little. Even though I probably could have gotten up at this point, I didn't. I kept my eyes shut as well. At some point, I didn't sense something was watching me, but I still didn't move and kept my eyes shut. After some time, I opened my eyes and jumped up. Nothing was there, and the front door was locked. My body seemed to have recovered completely from whatever had happened to it. It was still the middle of the night, but I felt as though a lot of time had passed. Years later, sometime in high school, I was surfing the web and came upon the Wikipedia article for sleep paralysis. I instantly knew this is what had happened to me. Unable to move your body except your eyes, sensing a malevolent presence, auditory hallucinations. It didn't say anything about that weird sense of extra time passing, though. I read sleeping in a supine position apparently makes you more likely to have sleep paralysis. Since then, I've almost always slept on my stomach or on my side. I've gotten sleep paralysis a few times since then. It's still scary, but nowhere near as scary the first time I went through it. Interestingly enough, all the other times I went through sleep paralysis, I never sensed it was aliens coming to get me. I simply thought a person or a shadow person was in my bedroom. I did have one especially scary sleep paralysis experience involving a shadow person, though. I was quickly able to move after waking up from sleep paralysis, and even though I was awake, I saw a shadowy figure crouched over, walking towards me. I leapt out of my bed screaming and lunged at the shadowy figure. Nothing was there. It must have been some kind of waking nightmare. I've read our ancestors evolved to assume noises at night were predators, triggering the fight or flight response. Better to overreact at the wind than to be eaten by a saber-toothed cat. I'm not sure if this counts as unexplainable. Everything but the strange sense of a lot of extra time passing in the first sleep paralysis experience can be explained. Very interesting. It was very creepy, I thought, at first. But I am glad they have mentioned sleep paralysis because that is what I was thinking. Yeah. Has anybody had sleep paralysis and experienced anything like that? I've never had sleep paralysis, but I did have a time where it took me a while to move. I guess it would be considered sleep paralysis, but I didn't have any of that fear or like pressing or anything like that. Let's see what you guys were writing. Been so bored these past few weeks, so this Halloween is really a breath of fresh scare. Oh my gosh. Critters 2, yeah, with the critter ball where they roll over people and it's just like a shaking skeleton left over. Exactly. That's an expensive window. I know, right? I thought Korea uses the metric system. They do. What's your question? This is... I'm not sure what your question is, Stormbringer. Let's see. Good, I'm glad you ran out of puns. Let's see. The something standing over you is a very common sleep paralysis visual. Bloody amygdala, yes. Shadow person or sensing a presence is also common in sleep paralysis, at least in my case. It seems like there's a part of our brain that causes that. I've been a sub since 2012, still trust you. Thank you. Thank you, Fleshaga. Awesome reference to the idea that we evolved agency when encountering weird noises and stuff. Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. They included that. I used to have sleep paralysis back when I was young and used to believe in demons. It was pretty dope. I miss it. What do you miss about it? Sleep paralysis is ghastly. The mechanism to keep you safe isn't turned off, but your brain comes back online before your body. Boy, that sucks. Struggled with sleep paralysis for years. What stopped it? Do you know? I also used to hear crickets and frogs in the wintertime as a child. Oh, interesting. I had a similar experience, but I already knew what was happening. I was dreaming about something, then a shadow figure appeared when I was awoke, but I couldn't move. I panicked and tried to. Sleep paralysis with lucid dreaming is fascinating and almost fun. Okay. Let's see. I tried to scream, but couldn't. Then I realized what was happening and just got out of it. Interesting. More exciting than the reality of just sleeping. Gotcha. Gotcha. No, Rats. I told you I wasn't going to read them. That's why. That's too bad. I'm still calling you Tekken. That's too bad. That sounds pretty freaky. Like I said, I've never had it. The closest, and I don't even think this is the same thing. I would wake up, but what I could see was the dream. So that's only happened twice. I remember I was just floating in outer space. That was it. I wasn't dying. I was just floating in outer space. And at some point I woke up and I knew I was dreaming and I sat up, but all I could see was still floating in outer space. And then eventually it just kind of dissolved into the bedroom. So that was weird. And I was still sitting up. And then I got shot in the back of the head in a dream, and I was still alive, but I couldn't move. And then when I woke up, like my body felt very heavy. That was kind of it. Let's see. That's interesting, Summer. Some people are nice to those around them for some reason. We used to say they were about to die. Well, I guess that's me. I have sleep paralysis. I've knocked out my teeth in sleep. Oh my goodness, that sounds terrible. I used to have it a lot, and once I figured out what it was, I could do some pretty trippy lucid dreaming. Well, that's cool. A lot of talk about shadow people. Yes. So, let's see. In Mexico, sleep paralysis is called, I don't know how to pronounce that, subirse el muerto a uno, to have a dead man. Also, witch riding, or the witch was riding me. Now, does that have to do with this idea of the hag, which is one of the types of shadow people, sitting on your chest in a menacing way? Yeah, the hag. See, there it is, optimistic. So that's what I was wondering. Probably not the same, but I've got MS, and when I had a spike in movement, it gets really difficult. I think all the other senses go up. Probably a good way to see or hear stuff you usually don't notice. Interesting. Since we're talking about shadow people, I guess I will tell about an incident where I had something. So I think I'm going to share like 4 of my unexplained stories with you. So here's one of them. My cousin and I have a million cousins. This cousin had been convinced they were communicating with like a famous person through like telepathy. And if you're around, you know, our big family, that sounds funky, but it's not something like outside of our culture to necessarily think. So it's like, maybe, you know, whatever. So, you know, for us and just with our family beliefs, like our big family beliefs, the idea would be like maybe you're being communicated with by something else, as opposed to, oh, you're just making it up. So eventually I asked her, you know, so when we go to these family reunions, we're in the middle of nowhere, absolutely nowhere. Just to give you an idea, my mother needed emergency treatment at one point, and we had to call the ambulance, or call the hospital, and the ambulance was going to meet us. We had to drive like 45 minutes with our flashing lights on and our brights on. It was the middle of the night to meet the ambulance, so the ambulance could take my mom, and then we drove another like 45 minutes or so to get to the hospital. Like that's how far out you are. You can't get delivery, anything. There's no lights. Like the single paved road turns into a gravel road, turns into a dirt road, turns into a dirt road with like huge potholes. Like this is where we are. So when the family's out there, you know, everybody's kind of sleeping in different situations. So there's the one house, there's a couple trailers. A lot of people will either sleep in their car, they'll bring a tent. And in this case, my cousin and I were sleeping in the back of a truck that had a canopy over it. And we were sitting up and just kind of facing each other. And I said, how do you know that this thing you're talking to, she had a name for it. I'll just use any name. We'll call him Alan. How do you know Alan is good? And she says, I don't know. I never asked. And so, you know, with these beliefs in the family, I said, well, Alan, I want you to show yourself. And so we're facing each other, and this thing shows up behind her. It's towering somehow in this canopied truck bed, and it's blacker than black, and it's got this like wide brim hat, but I can't see any features. It's like a silhouette, but it's you know, 1-2 a.m. on a moonless night in the middle of nowhere. It's already black outside. Like if you need to go to the bathroom, you got to bring a flashlight. And this thing is blacker than that. And it shows up behind my cousin, who doesn't see it, but sits up really straight suddenly. And I said, why are you following her? And in this voice that still gives me chills, it was like a booming bass, but like a howling wind noise. It said, because she wants me to. And I said, do you want it to follow you? And she just shook her head. She wasn't saying anything. And so, you know, you say your culturally accepted thing to banish a spirit, and it just disappeared. And that was it. We never talked about it ever again. Some 20 years later, I'm in Korea, you know, not even thinking about it, and I'm just cleaning the house, and I've got some, you know, paranormal stuff playing in the background just to give me something to listen to. And it was this thing about shadow people, and I was like, what's that? And the way they described it, blacker than black, it's just a silhouette. Some of them have like the wide brim hat and stuff. My blood just ran cold, and I was like, what is this? The weird thing though is they always mentioned it's like out of your periphery, or it's something you experienced during sleep paralysis. But this thing, like, I saw it straight on, could talk to it, it talked back. My cousin responded. It was very weird, and I don't know what it was. And it's one of those things you don't talk about because it sounds nuts, you know, and you don't want people to think you're nuts. So, I mean, I don't know what it was. Maybe I fell asleep and I just had a very realistic dream that I don't know. But, I mean, after that, she never talked about Alan. So it wasn't just a dream, because she talked about this guy constantly on that reunion trip. So if it was just a dream, then she would have still kept talking about him, but she didn't. So I don't think it was just a dream. Let's see what you guys are writing. Great pronunciation. Oh, okay, thank you. I'm glad. Let's see. My body just collapses from insomnia sometimes. That's terrible. If you lose your upper teeth in a dream, it usually means one of your uncles or grandpas or a previous generation of your family dies. We used to say that a lot. For us, we have a thing about, like, if you see a person in your dreams, you have to call them. Yeah. Or check if they're okay. My cat once had such a bad dream when it was sleeping on my lap. She came and bit my arm and ran as if something was chasing her. It only happened once. Oh, that's interesting. Let's see. Did she hear the voice too? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if she heard the voice. It is a wild story. I know, it's weird, right? We were 14, I think. That's scary. It's scarier than the puns. Yeah, I know, the puns are pretty scary. Sounds like the Hat Man. Yes. And were you atheist at the time? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So I had just assumed it was some kind of demon, I guess. But I've never heard of a demon described that way. You know, it was just one of those things. You just move on. You know, you don't talk about it. It was just so weird. You know, you talk about it like in the moment, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that just happened, blah, 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 blah. I'm not sure I can go to sleep, and then you fall asleep, you know. And then the next day you don't see the need to talk about it because it's weird, and, you know, it can be also embarrassing for the person, so you just don't talk about it. Let's see. I have experienced dreams where I'm unable to control things that are happening around me. Not exactly paralysis, but kind of felt like it. Oh, I hate those dreams. I hate them. Sometimes I'll even recognize, rarely I can recognize I'm dreaming and I need to get out of whatever situation this is about to be. And yeah. Downvote. There you go. Why would you downvote? Like, is there a reason? Are you just one of those people? Maybe I'm a shadow person whisperer. Oh my gosh, that voice though. It's, I've heard it, something similar once, like in a scary movie or something, and I was just like, oh, like it made my blood just run cold. I've heard that losing teeth in dreams is a sign of financial stress. Okay, so if you guys need like a dream interpretation, you can ask me. They're not like there's not like a one thing like, oh, if you dream about green, it means that money is coming your way. It's not like that. It's basically how you react to the situation. That's how you interpret the dream. Yeah. The weird thing is, as soon as I stopped believing in God, I stopped having those kinds of experiences, but I used to be paranoid of demons. Right, exactly. So now, if somebody had said that to me, I would be more interested, like, psychologically, why are you believing to communicate with this person? You know, what's going on in your life that, you know, do you recognize this person as a real person, or do you think this is just like a person who's not there? For example, I will still talk to people that have passed, but I know they're not really there, and any answers that come are answers based on, you know, what I knew of them when they were alive. So of course, you know, sometimes you can find a comfort in talking to a person, quote unquote, even though you know fully that they're not a person there. It's just part of your own imagination. So I would be interested in that, you know. I wouldn't immediately think, oh, they are communicating with something spiritually. You know, that's not an assumption I would make. Yeah. Once on a web forum, a guy posted a prayer or something for meeting the devil. Can we find one? Can we just do that right now? Let's see. How to summon a demon. Let's just do it. How to summon a demon. I don't know. How not to summon a demon. Demon summoning. Tips and tricks for summoning demons this Halloween. Okay. I feel like it would take a lot more preparation. The demon is summoned. It's angry. Let's see. It's the top results. Oh, that's a lot of hard to read. Nope. It's like a gaming spell. That's all right. We'll do it later. I had a dream the other day that I had to be in school again, hadn't prepared, didn't have a book, didn't even know where the school was. It just ended up following someone, yeah. Used to work at a Christian camp where there were a lot of demon talk. I used to go to those. I was on the worship team. You upvoted 3 times just to make sure. Cool. Let's see. I said it and had this present, just like a half imagined, that came and branded my hand. Afterward, it was like a sunburn on my hand. It is interesting, though, how psychologically, like if you expect, oh, is this area gonna hurt? Oh, and then you interpret that it does, you know? Yeah. It's like what you do with kids, you know? You tell them to look away from the needle because they anticipate it. They anticipate that it's going to hurt. For me, I have to look at the needle. I don't want to be surprised. Make sure you research how to banish the demon too. That's right. I'll do it second. This is taking a turn for even more awesome. Well, that's good. I grew up in Maine, Scarborough. Our old farm had this wide brim hat wearing thing. We thought it was a ghost of one of the Mayflower ancestors. It was normalized for generations, but it makes no sense. Huh. That's interesting. Like it was you said you thought it was a ghost. Like you guys would just see it sometimes and it wasn't even physically there. That's interesting. How not, because you can't do it by accident. Yeah, apparently you can do it by accident. Here, like hey demon, if you're hanging out, show up. Nothing right now. That'd be great though if Krampus like slammed into the door at the same time. Demon summoning by WikiHow. Is it there? Is it there? Please be there. WikiHow. How to perform a seance. How to get rid of demons. How to act evil with pictures. I mean, a villain is the most fun to play. Looking the part, choosing the right clothing. No. It's all about acting. Acting. I'm online friends with someone making amulets, trinkets, and stuff for summoning the goetic spirits. I see. Like the Ars Gotia and stuff. I gotcha. That's part of what? The Lesser Key of Solomon. And it talks about like the different demons and stuff. Let's see. Summon an angel. That's much more scary. How can we summon an angel? Let's see if any angels hanging out can be summoned. Want to show yourself? Nobody wants to show themselves. Maybe they're just shy with the camera and stuff, you know. Yo, demons, show up, bro. I know. Hey, demons, it's your boy. I could not look at the needle when getting my vaccine doses, but at least I made it through. I know you have a needle issue, and I'm glad that you were able to get that. If someone had knocked on the door right then, I'd have laughed so hard. I know, me too. Maybe the demon doesn't want to hang out with you. Picky demon. Maybe I'm too scary for the demon. I'm sorry. I'll do this. You guys okay? Can you hear me? Are we good? All right. Unless this is scary. Okay. Dang it, WikiHow was a joke. No, I wanted to see if they had it. I tried summoning a demon in Civil Court. Did that work? Call forth the Metatron. Yeah, we'll try that. No one ever talks about the greater key of Solomon or the medium key of Solomon, exactly. Demons don't believe in atheists. Oh, that's too bad. That's too bad. All right. So this comes from Leaf on the Wind, who's part of our Discord. So they sent 3 things. I used to go to karate, I think is how you pronounce it. Every Saturday, I get up, have breakfast, and walk to the community center. Karate started at 9 a.m. I was around 14 or so, and my mom came in around 7:30 and said, "There's no karate today." So I ignored my 8 a.m. alarm. Then at 8:30, she came in and said, "Why aren't you up? You have to leave in 20 minutes to go to karate." I made it barely on time. Turns out I dreamt her coming in late to let me know it wasn't happening that day. But the very next weekend, she came in and told me it wasn't happening, and I wasn't going to fall for it again. I got up with my alarm, and I was sitting at the table eating my breakfast around 8:30, and she came down and said, "What are you doing? I told you there's no karate today." Coincidence, or did I see 1 week into the future? Number 2, I was 18 and working at an industrial laundromat. My parents had recently split, and I wasn't keen on seeing my dad. It was a messy divorce. My mom and my sister and I basically voted him out of the family. Sometimes he would pop up at my work and say hi. His best friend worked there. That's who got me the job. Things were getting messy with the lawyers and the back and forth. I had recently been moved to another part of the building. One day, when it had been a few weeks since my dad had popped by, I thought to myself, I should tell Peter, my dad's friend, that the next time my dad comes in, please don't tell him the department I'm working in, and please don't tell him where to find me. Let him go to the old department and then come and let me know he's here, and that way I won't be caught off guard. A few hours later, before I took lunch and had the chance to talk to Peter, my dad walks up for a visit. He found out where I was from Peter. Coincidence or ESP? So what do you guys think about that? So it seems a lot of these are almost prophetic in a way. The next one that they submitted is a little different. But what do you think about those two? Isn't Metatron a YouTuber? No, Metatron is like the voice of God. And then what, the Tetragrammaton is the name of God? Next time I send you the woman living next door, that is a demon, right? I had no breakfast that day too. How sad. Once I was late for work because I was dreaming I was already at work. That sucks. My dad's instructor in a psych class on hypnosis showed up with a cigarette and used a pencil eraser as a cigarette butt and burned the student, putting it out. Highly suggestible. Oh, interesting. Let's see. Deja vu could be, no, deja vu is seeing. It's seeing. I don't think that would be deja vu. That's the opposite. So, it seems like the way it works is that you see something, you recognize what the thing is, and then you put it into your like working memory or short-term memory. But with the deja vu, you see something and it goes into the memory, and then you recognize what it is. So that's what could be happening. All of that good stuff, yeah. But this would be like premonition, perhaps. But I don't know. So the last submission. This is probably the best one. I was in grade 1, so I was 6 years old. My mom and a neighbor took turns carpooling. It was me and her 2 daughters down the street. One girl was in my class, and the other was a year or 2 older. This day, it was the other mom's turn to pick us all up and take us home. I don't know what time of the year it was, but I remember there was snow on the ground. We were walking through the school field to her car, and I blinked, and they were gone. Both kids and the mom were gone. I was still standing, but stopped in the field. I looked around and couldn't see them. I checked the parking lot and her car was there. I went around the school and into the school, and just as I was going to the office, we ran into each other. I didn't have an explanation for what happened, and I was almost in tears. The mom, after being very relieved to see me, just gave me a hug and took us all home. To this day, I still have no idea what happened. Did I just daydream and zone out? Maybe, but how could they get to the car, notice I was missing, and go back to the school without seeing me in the field? How did we miss each other? Is it aliens? Is it the Fae? It wasn't particularly traumatic, but it has stayed with me. That's really interesting. So they blinked and everybody was gone. And they were, instead of, you know, oh, we were walking through the field, let's go back and find them. Oh, there they are standing in the field. They couldn't find him. So that's really weird. The opposite of jamais vu, I don't know. I don't know the opposite. An Italian history-oriented YouTuber with a bit of specialty in Japanese culture. Oh, interesting. Aliens. Yeah, that's a weird one. That's a weird one. That is a weird one. The only thing I can think is if he just stopped and in the blinking he had zoned out and didn't realize that he zoned out. And then instead of going directly back to backtrack, they thought maybe he went to the bathroom or something, so then they went into the school instead of going into the field to look for him, and then couldn't find him in the school. That's the only thing I can think of. And then, even then, that seems very unrealistic, because if I lost a kid, I'd backtrack, right? I wouldn't just, assume, you know, maybe if I had the older kid, 2 years older, maybe they could go check for the bathroom. I'm not sure. You look like I feel. Are you having a migraine, Sim Streamer? That's what I am. I'm a migraine. I have passed out and I have been choked out. It could be something like that. But he was standing. I feel like if he passed out, he would have like fallen, right? Because the only time I've ever fallen asleep standing was in boot camp, because I was super tired, and that lasted for all of half a second because I started falling over, and so I immediately jerked myself awake. Heat stroke, but there was snow on the ground, so it was in some kind of winter or late autumn. That happened to me a lot after my ADHD meds wear off. I like to zone out so far off. As happened to me while driving one time. That's scary. Recently, Metatron made a video that concluded Jesus was probably a historic figure and everyone jumped at his throat. Well, that's too bad. I do wonder, though, the way that people are rallying around Trump. I do wonder, is this what happened with Jesus? Also, I didn't touch anything. You guys see I have my hands up here. I didn't touch anything, and yet my mouse went to the tab that's still open that says how to summon a demon. This is spooky. That's it. Yeah, very, very spooky. I guess that's a sign. That's a sign. All right, how to summon a demon. How about quickly? Quickly. Bored teens try to summon. Okay, tips and tricks for summoning demons. I feel like how to summon a demon phrase. I want to just read something. Exorcise demon, supernatural fandom. Oh, okay. Demonology system. I mean, can you imagine getting a degree in demonology? That was one thing I wanted to do back when I was religious. Can we do it? Can we summon? Find. Summon. Oh, there's a lot of summon. Demon planes. I mean, with like the Pentecostal stuff, it's always like you always accidentally can summon a demon to get possessed. So let's do it. Let's, I mean, how do you do the possession? Okay, stage 1, make a circle. All right. Which demon do we want to call? You guys want to call a demon? Let me see. Let me see. Demon of... How about demon of health? Okie dokie. Causes and heals diseases, gives wisdom and knowledge in mechanical arts, and he can change men into other shapes. I mean, this sounds cool. We'll call him Marbas. All right, let's do it. So we'll make a circle. I will sit in this thing. I dropped my phone. Okay. And we'll make a circle. We don't have to really do it, but we can, like, sense a circle. So we'll do it with wisdom. So we'll use a pencil. And we'll make a circle around my body, because I'm all tucked into this chair. All right, so within this circle, I call thee. Within this circle, I bind thee. Within this circle, I summon thee. Gotta check his name again. Marbas, Marbas, Marbas. Thrice by your name are you bound. To my will thou art bound. I will call thee forth. Marbas, Marbas, Marbas. I call you forth. I call you forth and bind you. I call you forth and bind you in this circle. Are we feeling better? It says that I can add blood. There, we'll use that. Okay. So within this circle you are bound. At my summons you will come. In one form shall you be bound. In one place shall you be bound. See this sacrifice of delicious coconut coffee offered unto you. Witness as it's offered unto you. Know that it calls you to this place, and from it draw your strength. But my will, I force the gates. With my will, I open the way. Let my words be the light that draws you here, as my voice gives you form with which to work my will. Your spirit is bound within Marbas. Stage 3 is binding optional. I don't want to bind him. I want him to just like work his magic of knowledge and healing. Maybe he's in the coffee? Is it going to taste different? We tried. We tried. What can we do? We tried. You should dim the lights. Demons hate bright light. It's the sun. It's the sun. I ain't got no lights on. I have an amulet for summoning Belial if that I want to summon Marbas specifically. I usually use eggs to bind the demons. I hear, are you Latino? And I think that's, oh, are you Latino or Filipino? I hear that's more for exorcism. Let's see. No, do not bind him. How do you think we got COVID? You fool. No, he can heal it then. Okay. Is Jesus hysterical? Instead of historical. Oh, there's a demon emoji. It worked. Thank you, Tekken. He looks very sweet. Please don't dim the sun. I can't see that going well. Well, maybe I can dim the sum and have a delicious lunch. Oh, see, that's how you do a pun, Ratsa. That's a joke, like using eggs to bind meatloaf. No, I'm serious. That's like a thing. If a person feels like they're possessed or something, in certain cultures, you rub an egg, like a raw egg, around them, like while it's still in the shell, and then you crack the egg. Yeah. Let's see. The field was between the parking lot and the school. That's what I figured. Oh, so they would have had to walk through the field to get to the school if they went to go to the school to check, like if you're in the bathroom or something. Oh, interesting. Well, that's even weirder, because especially if it's white, and snow around you, you would very easily stand out against that. The demon of the pun possesses me. That's true. They did that with the egg in Orange is the New Black. Interesting. Was the character Latina, maybe? All right, so we're gonna check another one of these. This is from an anonymous submission. Once when I was a kid, I saw a shadow person. It was a shadow of a man, but something was wrong. He was in my living room, and then he went to my mother and father's room. I decided to go sleep with the covers over my head. I woke up, no one. Well, I woke up and went to my mother and father's room, and no one was there. It turns out nothing happened to them, but the shadow person ran to my parents' room. I was awake by the way I saw the shadow person. So it just seems they had a shadow person wandering around their house. That's pretty funky. What do you guys think? Speaking of COVID, I hang around on dating apps, unsuccessful, wink wink. I don't know why the wink wink. Like, I can't find anyone to date me. Yeah. Like, that's how I'm reading it. And quite often I come across ladies with a profile saving, looking for my unvaccinated partner in crime. Ooh. One character was Latina and did Santeria, but I think it was a white woman who did that with an egg. Interesting. I wonder if that was that white woman like with a southern accent, because there is Appalachian witchcraft, so they might have had that. Thanks for this. I'm sad because my grandkids and homeschooler are too old to dress up or trick or treat. Well, that's too bad. You're never too old. Like, I will dress up anytime I get a chance. So we had to have 2 Halloweens. I think one other teacher dressed up twice, and so did I. Like, that was it. One teacher was like, oh, I'll do it for the next one. Like, no, we're doing it twice. That's just what we do. And then, you know, it still wasn't Halloween yet, so I just kept dressing up. Let's see. Obyung, is that your spell? May Robert Tilton make me fart. I've been trying to borrow the entire comic book series. My dad had an early version of a smartphone that had a video recorder on it, and whenever he filmed it, it had all these artifacts. I made a video in the dark of the bathroom with a flashlight on and told the demon if he was there to show himself. Oh no, I bet he showed himself. And an orb flew behind me and on the wall. Oh my gosh. Creepy. Anti-vaxxers in the pandemic. That's the real horror story. I know. She took a vow of silence, so I don't know what her accent was. Oh, that's interesting. All right, we'll check the anonymous number 2. Friend of mine, sensible girl, rationalist, atheist, brought up on the second Isle of Arran off Scotland, so I probably mispronounced that. She had moved to England to go to university. Whilst she was there, her best friend had drowned back home, so she went back to Arran for the funeral and to grieve with their friends. Her dad was renovating her bedroom, but told her she could sleep in the barn. She set up a cool mini bedroom in the barn. Every time she fell asleep that night, her friend came to her in her dreams and said, "Wake up, you can't sleep here." And she kept waking up. So the next time she fell asleep, she told her friend, "Please let me sleep. I'm really tired and I've been traveling all day." But he insisted that she gets up. So she got out of bed to get a cup of tea, and when she had returned, an anvil had fallen from above and landed on her pillow. She's never told me a lie. I believe her. What do we think? That's creepy. Now, this is anonymous for you guys, but I know this person, and they seem pretty, like, straightforward, not the type to make up a bunch of stuff, you know, so that's an interesting story. What do you guys think about it? I wanted to do a father and son Jason Voorhees for Halloween, where I'd show him how to murder people, but he's too old for trick-or-treating. There's no such thing. Who's too old? I'd go trick-or-treating if it was still, if trick-or-treating had a culture in Korea, I would go trick-or-treating. Nice to see you too, Liam. Give me demons over anti-vaxxers any day, especially if it's Marbas, who can heal us. Thanks a lot, Marbas. I wonder how demons feel when they show themselves after people call them and the person freaks out and they go, "What did you expect?" I know, I won't freak out, Marbas. And you can just kind of like chill and do your own thing. You're not my servant. I won't treat you like that. But I will ask that you just help me out with these migraines. That's all. If you're here to show your power, please erase the makeup from the migraine side of my face. And that's how we'll know you're here, if you don't want to physically show yourself. That works, right? That's a thing. Well, my DE what? Demon summoning powers are weak today. I know. It's hard to focus with a migraine. Marbas, migraine. I wonder if they subconsciously knew the barn was old and stable so that anxiety manifested in the dream. Right. It could be something like that. Maybe they heard something creaking in the dream. That could be something. Could be. Yeah. Or it could just be one of those things where they were bothered by something. You know, they missed their friend or something, so the friend, they had a dream about the friend not wanting them to be away, you know, going to sleep or whatever, so they just woke up and did their thing. And then also there was that accident. So not necessarily that the friend was there warning them, but the friend could have been just part of their dream. And also this event happened. I think you mean makeup. I don't know what's cute about it. What's cute about this? Because the second person said it's cute. Anyway, it's a migraine. It's not your fault for the demon not manifesting. Someone in the chat is an unbeliever and it's throwing off the energy. Thou unbeliever, leave our presence. I think we have one more of these. Yes. My own personal strangest one. When I was about 12, I answered the landline phone. It was 1992. And as I picked it up, I knew it was my mom calling, and I knew she was calling to say a family friend was dead. He was a motorcycle police officer and had been squashed by a truck. I told her I knew as she gave me the news. Oh, that's weird. That's interesting. What do we think of that? So Anzug, this is a like minor friendly chat. If you want to do fetish stuff, you know, that's on you. Go to a place where people are doing that. Like, what about anything of mine, anything I've presented says, yes, if I'm interested in my sexual fetish, I should come ask Miss Lemon. Like, what about my channel makes you feel like, this is the place to make those requests? I want to believe Fox Mulder. I'm rewatching all the X-Files, by the way. The trout is out there. Nice. Wow. Do you see? Now, one of you guys, I think it was Shane, you asked me why I don't allow video chat or voice chat or whatever. I think it was, I misread it as video chat. And I said because someone's going to show private parts automatically just because I'm female on the internet. But yeah, for voice chat, same issue. I mean, look at this. We're just sitting here telling scary stories, and I got some person saying, now is the time for me to ask about my foot fetish. I mean, how foolish. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Absolutely ridiculous. Let's see. Maybe he has a crush on you. So what? So what? Who cares? Who cares? Why would that make it... okay, so he has a crush on me. So in the middle of this thing where we want to keep it appropriate for minors, because he has a crush on me, we're going to go ahead and excuse the fact that he's being inappropriate, you know? I mean, I'm not saying you're excusing it, but I'm just saying, who cares? If he's got a crush on me, that's his problem. Let's see. My neighbor's kids stopped by and I had no candy. That is horror. What did you give them? Did you give them anything? Did you give them kimchi? Or give them like a samgakkimbap? Came in a little late, but you can disable video in the Discord voice chat. Yeah, but it ain't disabling the voice. That's the other problem. That's the other problem, is it doesn't disable the voice. I just existing, which is so stupid. You get people coming in every so often with it. Let's see. One of my feet is all messed up today, probably because of this. Is that what you're saying? He's just into barefoot, demon summoning, migraine, dressed up girls. It's interesting to be called a girl. Like I'm 40. We don't have to excuse it. No, we're not. I'm just saying like I said, I don't think you meant it that way. I'm just saying, that's his problem if he's got a crush on me. That ain't my problem. Don't make it my problem that he's got a crush on me, dude. Not you, dude, but him, dude. You know. I'm always the last person to get stuff like that. God knows I've answered questions like this unironically. Oh, I know. I read one that it was like they had written it to look like other words, but when you read it together, it made like a sexual thing. And it took me forever to get it. And apparently everybody else in the chat totally got it, and nobody notified me. I think one person eventually did. You don't look your age. Well, that's because Asian don't raisin. But no, I do also try to take care of my skin. I got a call from a friend to let me know that a mutual friend had died. I had the feeling something like that happened, but I think I subconsciously picked up on the unusual timing of the call and the fact that it wasn't preceded by a text. Yes. Yeah, I would agree. For me now, because of this, I did unfortunately get that call about, you know, one of my siblings dying. And anytime somebody sends me like, hey, I need to call you right now, it just pit on my stomach. But see, now I'm going to be susceptible to confirmation bias, where when that happens again, I'm going to say, oh, I knew it, you know, even though it happened 20 times before and everything was fine. So that's the other thing that we also have to remember. I live in a different city from this friend. We don't usually chat unless I'm in town. Yeah, that's another one. Let's see. My friend's son was born on the day his brother died, and his brother wanted to be his son in the next life. Why would that's a I mean, first of all, yeah, that is creepy, but it's also creepy his brother wants to be the son in the next life. Like, I can't imagine that, like, my brother's kid, me saying, man, I wish I was your baby. To me, that's a little creepy. Like a different kind of creepy. Not a spooky creepy, but a different kind of creepy. Fitness keeps people looking young. That's just how it is. That's true. That's true. My skin got a lot better when I quit drinking alcohol and quit smoking and stuff. Isn't the stereotype that Asians look young, young, young? 115 all of a sudden? Yes. So that's coming. Only later when reflecting did it make sense why I immediately thought someone that died. Sadly, the friend that passed had gotten into drugs. So it was less than surprising. That's too bad. If you were your sibling's kid, you would know all their weaknesses and troll them all the time. That is true. That is true. You go from Leia to Yoda, exactly. So I don't remember I told you I had 4 I wanted to share. I shared one about the shadow people. One of them oh, now I remember. Okay, this one I don't remember. This was told to me. So when I was a child of 3 or 4, I was in the living room and I was just playing with some bracelet thing. And that's what I was just playing with it, sitting on the floor. My parents were watching TV. And then suddenly my mom heard me say, "Hey, mister, give me back my bracelet." And she looked, and I was standing with my hand out, staring at nothing. And the bracelet wasn't there. And then I was following into the hallway something, and I kept saying, "Hey, mister, give me back my bracelet." And so she followed me too. She thought that was weird. And she keeps hearing me say it and just following me, and there's nothing there. And there was this dark closet that I was about to go into, so she grabbed me up, and she said the bracelet was never found. So that's interesting. It's weird. It'd be a weird story to make up. So that's a weird one, you know. But it could just be a kid being stupid. That's what I kind of think. No, my brother would just take revenge and break out the belt. Oh no. My great uncle would say that if reincarnation was true, he'd want to return as a cat in the family because they were so well taken care of. The day after he died, a stray showed up and they took it in. Bless. That's one of them that I want to be true. I spent entire seconds thinking of ways to give a double meaning to my inappropriate jokes. It's uncouth for someone to be so blatant. Well, I mean, we still want to yeah. So the person who said this, what is your Instagram? Because it says that, hey, do you want to follow me on Instagram? What's your Instagram? Because you said you follow me. Do you follow me on the Miss Lemon account? When my wife suffered from migraines, a witch told her she had a demon pressing on her head. Apparently, those demons hate sumatriptan by injection, because after the pinprick, the demon left. Has your wife explained how sumatriptan feels, though? When you get that sumatriptan injection, it feels like your nerves are being burned off. So I would believe that a demon might feel that and just let go, because that hurt, okay? A kid being stupid, say it ain't so. Maybe you just wanted a bracelet when I was a kid. No, I was playing with a bracelet, and then the bracelet disappeared. And I was asking the air to give me my bracelet back, because I was playing with it and it was taken. Okay. So the person is letting us know it is 65 live. I can't find you. I don't see you. Oh, not live. There you are. Oh, fantastic. Great. So we will block. Fabulous. I mean, what do you want from me, dude? What do you want from me? You know? How did you expect that to go any other way? Let's see. And we'll just block you on the other account, just in case. Just in case. Fantastic. And block. Cool. Wonderful. Okay. The Insta feed is going to be all feet. It wasn't. I don't remember what it was. I didn't even look. It just wasn't a bunch of feet, which is surprising. But now it's blocked. Relax myself. I am relaxed. What's unrelaxed about me? Let's see. Telling you you were time traveling student that took the bracelet. It could be. It could be. Maybe they're gonna show it to me later and then hope I can see it or something. That is exciting. All right. The other two, yeah, I'm always relaxed. I have to be relaxed, because if I'm not, then I'm gonna get a migraine. We are not about that life. I will get a migraine anyway. You know what I mean? I don't need to try to add to that, you know. So that is not what I want. Do you believe in missing someone you never met? I believe you can feel very lonely, and you would fabricate a person that you feel like would be a good person to have in your life, romantically, friendship-wise, whatever. And you would miss that. You would be regretful or sad or something that that person isn't here. Yeah. The same guy with the devil prayer recommended scrying in a bowl of water. I could feel heat coming off the water, but I figured out why. Why did you feel heat coming off the water? Is it from... Wait a minute, you guys. When did Anzung show up? Is he the demon that we summoned? Oh, no. Oh, no. We don't want that. What happens? Oh, dear. This is not it. How do we banish the demon? Because YouTube ain't working to banish this demon. How do we banish a demon? That's the good question, right? That's it. That's what we figured out. Now, I've heard about scrying as well. I know it is the worst demon summoning. My goodness. Here, I thought we would get somebody that would help with, like, knowledge and stuff. And instead, we just get this, like, very pathetic... I don't know. No, I am the demon. No, Nick. I think that we summoned the foot demon. Yeah. Put on socks. That's how you banish them. That's it. That's it. Here, what if we put the coconut coffee on my feet? I don't know. It was body heat reflected from my hand reflecting off the water. Interesting. I have a weird skill. I'm good at recognizing people from the back. I think it's their gait. Are you good at recognizing facial features? Because if you're not, I've heard of that. That people that can't, they don't really do really well. They can... The demon was defeated after all. Oh dear. I mean, if he comes back, I'm going to defeat him. Meaning, I'm going to take his feet off. So that's what I want to do. All right. Let's see. And Crocs. Yeah, I think you mean the Crocs, those Croc shoes. Those are not great. Your eyes are not great. Maybe that's what it is. That's how you recognize people, because it's harder to recognize their facial features. Socks and Crocs, exactly. Socks and sandals. That's it. Trying to see what this person looks like, by the way. I can't. But it's one of those, you know, super cool, like, picture from the bottom like this. Like that. Like, okay. Super cool, guys. I guess we missed out on this really cool demon. I'm sorry. Stalkers missing people they've never met. Oh, I see. I think sometimes they imagine an idealized version of someone and they believe they know them and start stalking them. Oh, I thought you were talking about a person like you don't even know they exist. Not like there's a cashier at the grocery store and you've never really talked to them, but you're like in love with them. No, that's obsession. That's you need help for that. Yeah. I thought it was something like you feel lonely and maybe you have a dream about someone, or you have like a feeling this person must exist and you miss that person, or you long for that person, but you've never encountered them ever in any possible shape or form. Yeah. You took it that way too. Okay. You miss Norm Macdonald. Yeah. Hey, did you see what I did? Look at my name. Turd Ferguson. That was a good time. 12 weeks ago, he posted a photo of him and a lady friend with the hashtag German word for heart, just saying, wow, that's great. Mein Herz. Mein Herz brennt. I dreamed of people I've never met before and I woke up missing them. Something like that. That's what I was thinking. But obsessing over celebrities is pretty scary. Yeah, I mean, I've even had people that quote unquote fell in love with me. It's happened 3 times, I think, in all of the time I've been on YouTube. And they just, it's really I would say it's impossible to talk to them. So if this ever happens to you, the best thing is just to cut off communication. Because the fact that you acknowledge them at all, and it took me a while to realize it, but the fact that you acknowledge them at all gives them fuel. That's all. But I had one guy who was really Christian, and he hated so much about me, and he kept telling me that he'll excuse it, he'll forgive me for that. And then he went into these graphic sexual things, and I was just like, what? You know, what do you, what? It's so confusing, because that's not the vibe I give off at all. You know what I mean? So I was just very confused. And then one person would keep saying that he hates me and he wants to hurt me or like slap me or something. And then he's like, but I love you, you know. Even if there's a 0% chance of meeting you, I'm still going to come to Korea. Like stuff like that. Just really weird. One person knew it, and I had to remove them from the channel because of that. They recognized that they had an issue with idealizing and falling in love with total strangers, especially people that are celebrities or people that they can meet on the internet, like me, where I will communicate with you. So he began thinking like everything I was saying was directed towards him. The other guy too, he would defend himself, because when I would say something on a video, just talking on a video, he would think I was sending him messages. It was very strange. And I mean, that was part of my, you know, why I didn't just block them outright, because I was very interested in just how their thought process worked. But eventually I realized it was nothing, first of all, nothing I wanted to read. You know, out of curiosity, sure, but I don't want to read anybody's sexual desires. And for the other person, it really seemed to be upsetting for them that they were having a relationship with me that they weren't. And that was, it just seemed cruel to continue talking because of my own personal curiosity and their psychology. Do you know what I mean? Christian and graphic sexual things just don't go together in my mind. Oh, unfortunately, there's a huge overlap. Huge. Let's see. Fell in love with you. I barely tolerate you. See, I'd rather hear that. I'd rather somebody barely tolerates me than obsesses over me any day. Any day. It's impossible to talk to them, and it's super creepy. It is very creepy. And it is weird. So again, it's like, I was just curious, you know, what's going on in their head. But again, you know, I just wanted to see, like, did they understand reality, or did they... It was weird. Like, this guy had said he was gonna, like, leave his wife, and his wife had to be okay with it, and he still lives with his dad, but that's okay. I can live with his dad too. And he was very sad that he wouldn't be able to give me children. And I was like, I don't want you, and I don't want kids. Oh, but you might change your mind. You're so young. But, and I'm like, young? What are you talking about? You know? And it was so weird. Like, he had built up this person, and that person in his mind had my face and my name, but it wasn't me. I think that's the only way to really describe it. It was a person that he was obsessing over that wasn't me, but looked like me. Do you know what I mean? Let's see. I think of you kind of as a cousin, except not, because there are more jokes when not related. Then you ain't one of my cousins, because my cousins and I, we tell all kinds of nasty jokes. That's just how we do. That's roughly. I wonder if people ever had success with these strategies. I don't think it's a strategy. I think they think we are in a relationship. That's the thing. They really believe we're in a relationship, and all they have to do is extend their hand, and I'm gonna take it, and we'll live happily ever after. You know, that's really what they think. So this is not like a dating strategy or anything. It's a delusion. Yeah. Good for them recognizing they have a problem with fetishizing people they see on screen. I hope they got the help they need. I hope so too. Yeah, I do. And let's see, people feel a deeper connection with these types of mediums. It feels more personal than TV and radio, and they think they know people. I think so, you know, because you're quote unquote in my house, right? But I remember meeting up with somebody, and they had invited me to a party, and I said, oh no, I'm really bad with people. I don't like, I can't, I have a very hard time being around a lot of people. I just, like, I'm like really introverted. And they said, what? You talk to thousands of people all the time with your YouTube channel. And I said, no, I'm by myself and I talk at a camera. Whether people click on the video or not, that has nothing to do with me from there. I put a video by itself out. And then anything else that anybody does, that's on their time, that's on their terms. It could be years later, whatever. I'm not having a conversation with people. So that, yeah, that was, but I guess it's this idea that, you know, it's just you in your room or with your headphones on in public transportation, and it's just me, and I look at the camera and I'm talking, and you feel like I'm talking to you, you know. I think that's probably why there's that personal feeling to it. Yeah. Because I guess it's almost like we're having a video chat, but we're not, you know. And then the people that agree with the stuff you're saying, if you tell somebody while they're talking, yeah, I totally agree with you, that's just kind of a thing you can say. It doesn't really add to the conversation. And the person will just be like, yeah, and they keep talking, you know, about more of the thing. And that's how that works too. If I say something you guys agree with, you might say that like, exactly. Like, you'll say it out loud. I've heard people do that. I do that, you know, when I'm watching a video or something. I'll be like, nailed it, or yeah, totally. And the person keeps talking, you know, just like you would if you were having an actual conversation. So I feel like with YouTubers that you agree with, you end up feeling like you're having a type of conversation with them. So maybe you feel like you're getting closer to them, I think. Let's see. Good for them recognizing. Yeah, we've read that. So you want to go straight to the married for 10 years stage? Ugh, no, thank you. You've never spent time in a Catholic high school. That was to Hamid. Yes. Repression often leads to a surge in the behavior. Alcohol is very normal in Europe, but it's super taboo for anyone under 21 in the USA, and Europe has fewer alcoholics. Would you count Russia there? Because I know there is a demographic in Russia that does have quite an issue with alcohol. Is this about Turbo or someone else? Turbo's one of them. Yeah. But there's the other two. I don't know who those people are, Obyung. Are you saying you know what I mean and you know what I'm saying? I'm not sure. His platonic ideal, yes. I only exist in his world of forms. There was an insurance lady at my old job that was your twin. Which side? You miss my skeptic vids. That was a time frame I subbed. I don't mean to end those. But these days I've just been so busy, and the shift, especially to the live streams, that really started with the pandemic. And after I started going back to work, physically, because I was working from home, so I was able to do these lunch break live streams. Those had to end. And I had a lot of people saying they missed that. They felt like they were just a little less alone, you know, having these types of interactions, you know, because they don't really go outside of the house. And so here's a person that's not usually in their house, quote unquote, having a conversation with them because you guys can interact with the live stream. So I definitely want to keep doing these at least for as long as the pandemic. Yeah, because I think that some people get a benefit from it for sure. But if you have a request for the skeptic videos, please send me the request, because the videos that I did were Q&A type videos. I was answering people's questions, and so when the questions stopped, the videos stopped. That's the problem. So the next thing that I want to be doing as well, in terms of like atheism and things, to provide that skepticism, would be to watch some like evangelical videos and then provide critiques or ideas or something about, you know, why they have this belief, and then talk about that. So that's where I want to go with that. But yeah, my life is pretty hectic. You know, I still have a full-time job. I started a master's program, and I've been in and out of the hospital lately, getting a biopsy soon. So we'll see. So just been very, very hectic, yeah. Plus my migraines are out of control lately. I have friends that I met online and knew for years before I met them IRL, a couple that live in other continents. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. To have an interaction with people, get to know them, meet up with them later, that's totally fine. That's completely normal. What's not normal is to believe that somebody you've never spoken to is your soulmate, and that their tweets, their pictures, and their videos are secret coded messages to you because they know that you're in love with them and they're also in love with you. And so as soon as you decide to finally communicate with them, you pour out your heart and your lust because you think they're going to immediately pick up on it, run with it, and then fly over and be with you forever. That's what we're talking about. So we're not talking about communicating with people online and being friendly with them. That's totally different. My high school crush had a bunch of cousins. They all looked almost exactly like her. I randomly met one when traveling. We got along. I spent a day with them. Didn't realize until Facebook, friending a bit later. Oh, it's interesting. Lee looks a lot like a lady friend who helped me get started at the gym. Same hair color. See, you guys that are saying this, now you realize why my Patreon tagline is everyone's doppelganger. Like, I'm not kidding. Yeah, well, let me know your friend's Pokemon Go friend code. That'll be cool. That demographic is just Russians. Vodka ruined that country. I don't know about everybody, but I know it was around men between their ages 25 and 40, I believe it was, last I checked. Let's see. Most of the top 10 countries for alcoholism are European. Yeah, I think there might be more drunken accidents or like alcohol poisoning for young people in the US. Maybe that's what they meant. There's a good vampire book series with sunglasses at night. Haven't heard of it, but I like the name. I do benefit from these streams. I also have the skeptic videos. Yeah, and again, you know, it's a Q&A thing, so please ask. Hope everything goes well with the medical stuff. Me too, but at this point, it's like, you know, if it is what it is, then you just deal with it, you know? And there's no real better time because I can still teach with online classes, you know? Do we live in a simulation? Big thinker for me because everything is so bizarre, it doesn't seem real anymore. The way that I see it is if we do live in a simulation, it's still real to me. You know, I mean, I can't break the simulation if we live there, so I can't pick up my cup and then let it go when it doesn't fall. Do you know what I mean? It's still real to me. There's still rules and whatever. So, you know, that's just how I see it. There's people I only know by their online handle, right? How social media is splitting the world and creating aggression across countries. Let's chat about that. Perhaps, if you want to give one specific example. So I wasted my money on a plane ticket. Optimistically, don't even joke about that. I really don't want to beat up a stranger. I just really don't want to have to deal with that, and the legal stuff that comes with that, and the physical stuff that comes with that, because my body is hurting, you know? And so, like, I can't imagine how many migraines I'm going to get if I have to just beat up a stranger again. So, let's see. I don't want to minimize the suffering of that person or how that affected you, but this person could be a solid premise for a psychological horror. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know about how it affected me. A couple of them, the one guy, I did report him to his local police station. I did. Because I felt like if a woman in his area went missing, that the police should know to check his basement. He just really gave off that vibe. The other guys, they just seem really, you know, almost sad in a way. Yeah. So I wouldn't say I'm like traumatized or anything by it. It was just weird and it was annoying, yeah. Did you just solve hard solipsism? I don't know. I have a hard time with philosophy because I know it's contributed a lot to things, but a lot of it is so hypothetical that I just don't see how it is practically helping anything, you know? Said it on here before, but I've had a stalker. It was awful. It must be so bad for women if they're physically scared too. Yeah, I wouldn't say any of these guys were stalkers. I would say they harassed me, but I wouldn't say they're stalkers. Having a stalker has got to be horrifying. I did have a coworker before that had tried to stalk me. That was messed up. As far as being physically scared, yeah, I would say, you know, I'm an exception. But yeah, I mean, I can't imagine, you know, anyone who feels like they can't defend themselves, you know, whether they're young, whether they are, you know, typical female versus typical male, disabled, you know, those kinds of things. Let's see. 50s thing, less faithful to the book, but way better. I'm not sure if you guys are talking about something else. My friend over to Turkey, and she asked a dude where a furniture store was. The dude found out her number, became obsessed with her. Her neighbors called the police and they saw him outside and he got arrested. Ugh. Moved over to Turkey, gotcha. Ugh. You wouldn't hurt someone unless you generally had to. Generally, you are a friendly person. I'm a forgiving person, typically. But you haven't encountered me on the street. I'm not, like my students, they'll say, oh, teacher, you seem so friendly. I'm like, yeah, you haven't met me, like, at the store, and you're trying to talk to me out of nowhere. Yeah. I'm very... like, why are you talking to me? Yeah. So I don't know about friendly. Just not gonna attack you, but I don't know about friendly. 3 steps of philosophy. What are they on about? Number 2, that's so deep. Number 3, hang on, that's it? Yeah, I know, right? I thought I would get stabbed and I would get in trouble if I defended myself. I know, that's horrifying, right? That men can't defend themselves. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, women are more likely to use weapons. Even an MMA fighter or athlete has to be careful. Anyone can be taken by surprise. Yeah, absolutely. Especially if they aren't on guard against the person they don't know exists. Absolutely right. Yeah, anybody can take a rock and just wang you on the back of the head, you know. I do want to share the other creepy stories, though, because I'm starting to feel pretty achy, and do want to probably end the stream before I gotta get that darn migraine. So another one was when I was a child. My sister and I shared a room, and our room had 2 windows. So this window faced the street, and this window faced the backyard. So if there was a car coming, then it would shine through this window, and you could see at night, like the lights would kind of, you know, start in one spot and kind of peel across the opposite wall. Do you know what I mean? As the car passed. So we were supposed to go to bed. Star Trek had just started. My father was a very big fan of Star Trek because it's fantastic. And it had just started, and he put us to bed. We were maybe, I don't know, 9 and 7, something like that. And we're in our opposite beds. We're just talking. And suddenly the whole room filled with a blue light. Just through both windows. It was just full of a blue light. It was so bright. And then it just went away. We were in the room for maybe 5 minutes tops before suddenly we have this like blue light fill it. And then the light goes away, and we look at each other and we scream, and then we run to Dad. And we're screaming, Dad, Dad, Dad. You know, there was something happened, you know, something. We didn't know what it was, but something. We were waking him up. He was asleep, and the credits were rolling on the Star Trek episode. And we couldn't have been in there for more than 5 minutes. So that was really strange. And both of us had recalled it because we did talk about it later. So I know it wasn't like a dream or something that I had. Let's see. One of my stalkers found me. Oh, gross, gross. I hope you reported it immediately to the police. Who would win in a fight, a UFC fighter or a strongman? UFC fighter. They're trained to fight. I mean, the strongman could like sit on him, you know, or like bear hug him maybe. But no, the fighter's trained to fight. Sleep paralysis, formerly associated with the being hag-ridden, is now aliens. Yes, but it depends on which place. Because like in Japan, they have a type of hag, and that is more common because that idea of like the UFO alien abduction is not as culturally ingrained. Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to head off now. Been yawning for a bit. Well, thank you for being with us as much as you were, Ratsa. I hope I feel better too. I've had a few online friends accidentally dox themselves to me. I've never done anything, of course, but I usually try to point it out to them. Oh, for sure. Are you talking about, Menno, what is that called? The Kalam argument? I mean, it's like, I don't know. I'm just very unimpressed by the Kalam argument. Was it Deep Space Nine or Next Gen? Oh, Next Generation, for sure. I don't know when did DS9 come out? I don't even know if it existed. Star Trek, Deep Space Nine. When did that come out? I guess Wikipedia? I accidentally, well, not accidentally, I set it to try to find, sorry, it's too hard to read. '93? No, it was before that. So it must have been Next Gen. Should I? Yes. Summer, yes. Immediately. Okay? Because you might be, you know, more aware and stuff and have more experience with this, but if you start stalking somebody else that doesn't have that experience, you know, that person could easily be a victim. So you can definitely stop him, and then prevent anything for the future, hopefully. Let's see. I had every fight correctly, but I didn't put any money down. That's too bad. Kalam, cosmological, usually a totally useless argument. Deep Space Nine is 93. Next Gen or a Voyager. I like Voyager. I do. I like a lot of the characters, but I also really like Next Generation. But ufologists still promote it as aliens. Of course they do. Of course they do. All right, so the last one for me, and it is another UFO one. Okay. So we were in, there's this section of a Midwestern state that has this like additional piece to it, and it's all like forest stuff. So it's just kind of out in the middle of the forest. There's a lot of just cabins and not really a place people live, but definitely a place where people vacation. You know, you might go there in the winter and the summer as a cabin kind of vacation. So you own a cabin kind of thing. So I didn't own a cabin, but one of my military buddies did. And so it was him, a couple of his friends, and myself. So 4 people total. And we were just at this cabin. This cabin, you know, very unremarkable. It was nice, you know, nice, well built, but, you know, nothing else. It was on a little hill, and then down the hill is like a lake. And it's kind of surrounded by this hill going down into it. So it makes this little inlet kind of an area where it's surrounded on 3 sides by land. And it was all just, you know, forest around it. So we were talking about aliens. I don't remember why. We were driving, we were talking about aliens or something, and myself and another person, we were saying, of course UFOs exist. They're just unidentified objects in the sky. You know, it doesn't mean they're aliens from another world. It's just like, oh, I see something in the sky and I don't know what it is. And the other 2 were making fun of us, like, oh, you guys believe in aliens, blurb, blurb, blurb. Oh, E.T. phone home, mama. You know, they were making fun of us. And we were like, no, we just said that. It wasn't. No, we're talking about, like, just, it could be like I don't know, a meteorite or something. And you don't know what it is. Or a weird looking, you know, military plane. You don't know what it is. So you say it's a UFO. It doesn't. And they kept making fun of us. Oh, E.T., you know. So we just stopped talking. When we were packing up to leave later on, it was like the next day or something, you know, we kind of shut the back on this Jeep. And one of the guys who was making fun of us pointed towards the lake and he said, hey guys, it's a UFO. And we rolled our eyes and we said, oh, ha ha ha, E.T. phone home, yeah, whatever. And he said, no, really, look. And so we all looked. And it was this really weird... It's kind of hard to explain, but imagine like a capital D, but instead of it being straight, it was bent in. So it almost looked like a full sail, like a sail full of wind. But the color was, I don't have anything to show you this color. It was like an orange, yellow, very bright, like a light, more than colored fabric or colored metal. It was just like a light that was shaped like this bowed out D. And it just started going up. It was super quiet, and it just started going up. So once it had risen up to be about level with us on top of the hill, we all went, oh my God, and we got into the car. And they were driving, and for those of us that weren't driving, we were looking in the back, and we saw this thing. It's still silently just going straight up, over the trees. And we turned to get towards, you know, going towards the highway, which meant we turned away from this thing. And we tried to watch it as long as we could. And then we just eventually got out of eyesight. And so we said, see, that's what we were talking about. We don't know what it was. It's in the air. It's a UFO. And then the other guys were like, oh, E.T. So that was it. That was the story. Still no idea what it was. Some people have said, was it a drone? It didn't look anything like a drone. It was just a lit, almost 2D looking thing. That, again, it just kind of looked like a D, just floating up. Somebody had suggested, well, maybe it's like a headlight from, you know, an ATV or something. But again, it was right over the water, like almost touching the water, and then it went above the trees. So that would not account for that light. So if you guys have any explanation or suggestions, still no idea what it was. So it couldn't be a kite. It was again just straight up. So it was very, very weird. And they still made fun of us, even though they saw exactly what we were talking about. Michigan. Yes, it was Michigan. I'm talking about the UP. But not everybody is from the States, so I tried to describe it. Sorry to hear that, Chris. I'm disappointed by the lack of aliens in our lives. I know. Last contact. Wow, that's too bad. Sorry to hear that, Summer. Yeah, definitely want to get into that, reporting it. And don't respond to them. Yeah. It could be a fairy. I don't know. Could be. Life would be so much cooler if we could discover intelligent life on another planet, a completely different species with different philosophies and ways of living. I feel like it would just turn into somebody taking over somebody else. A weather balloon? I'm not sure if that was a joke, but no, again, it was right above the water. So it was almost touching the lake. Could it be one of those fire lanterns? That is I see why you would suggest that, but nobody was down there. So for it to just exist, because you could see down very easily and you could see around the shore, nobody was there. Because otherwise we would have yelled like, hey, what is that? To them. Or do you guys see this too? So that was very strange. Yeah. No, but I guess that's the closest behavior, I guess. And the color. But there was nobody down there. Youpers are crazy. I don't know. They seem nice. There's still the unexplained. That's what I'm saying. I think it's just one of those unexplained things. Entire new civilization to colonize and exploit. Oh boy, I know. That's what we don't want. There are some Christians that believe extraterrestrial beings are just demons, them and Muslim people, that they are jinn. Could it be swamp gas? How high does swamp gas go? How high does swamp gas go? Because I thought swamp gas was just above. I mean, because it's only in like swamps, right? But I mean, we could kind of guess that maybe in that lake, maybe there was some similar thing. But I thought that it was like right on top of the water. I didn't think it would go that high. I don't see any images of it going very high. But if anybody else knows, right off the top of your head, because I've only known it to be right around there. Also, let's conquer the alien empire. It's going to be awesome. Grab your rifle. I feel like it wouldn't be that easy. Have you seen the meme about wanting aliens to take over Earth for its natural resources? And everyone's like, we use them up, LOL. No, I've seen one about aliens using humans as meat because they use all the same excuses that we do. Oh, they're not as advanced as us, so they don't feel pain the same way or something like that. It reminds me of the South Park Marklar episode. Oh my gosh. Didn't they say Marklar for everything? No, I think it was Marklar. I don't know about the G. I think the K. You could have stuck around and made first contact. Yeah, but, first contact could be bad, None of my people should have not stuck around for first contact with the Spaniards, let me tell you that. Could have definitely been a balloon or fire lantern that was flying around for some reason, lost its altitude, or went up again. Or a Pokemon. Okay, it's Drifloon. We saw it. It was a shiny Drifloon. That's it. We figured it out. I love my shiny Drifloon, by the way. As soon as you see something strange, your mind is biased. Absolutely. Absolutely. So we're trying to figure out, that's why I want to say it, like, what could it be, because all you guys have different experiences too. But the fact that all four of us saw it, that was interesting. Like a helium balloon, shiny metal skin. No, more like a fire, like a sun, like how the sun is just like an orange red. Do you know what I mean? That they're like orange yellow. That's just kind of how it was. So no like moving fire, you know, not like a bonfire, but it was just illuminated. There wasn't any distinguishing features. There was no anything. And again, it was like that D, like a bent, trying to bend my hand as much as I can, like a bent D. So it was shaped like this. So it wasn't floating with the big part pointed towards the sky. It was floating with the point going up towards the sky. So the rounded end was just facing to one of the sides. Let's see. Thanks for connecting so many people. Take care of that eye. It could get infected. I was a little worried about it because it is actually lip gloss stuff, like liquid lipstick. Starvin' Marvin in space. There we go. Any aliens we meet would either be angels or apes. Where's that quote from? Experienced falling blue embers on 2 locations. Interesting. Did they burn at all? Did you touch them? Some smaller alien creature is going to try to warn us. We'll be like, yo, grab your gear. We're about to kick down the door. Or they're just so small that they'll just be here and we won't even know. Just now I saw a bright green light shooting in the air. That's the djinn. That's it. We're all primed to see things. The human experience is colored by individual experience, for sure. Gert dat Perkemer. Exactly. What time of the year was it? Good question. It was summer. Yeah. As you know, factor observation is the farthest thing from the truth. Did you see the same when you went back at another time? No, never saw it again. So we've been to that cabin a few times, never saw it again. Never saw it before. Because this was that one person's cabin. It had been in his family for like as long as he knew. So ever since he was a kid, they just had this cabin. And they never, never mentioned it. We asked his dad about it. He had no idea, never saw anything like it. If you did encounter aliens, would you stick around and make first contact? I probably would, and I'd hope they aren't giant spiders or freaky like that. I felt like I would, but it's when I saw that, I was like, whatever this is, I'm not taking a chance. None of us thought, none of us thought that. As soon as it was in line with our altitude, we just went, just like screamed and got in the car, slammed the doors and just started driving. There was no coordination with it. All of us just freaked out and just did that. That scene in Shaun of the Dead in the beginning when Shaun and Ed are in the house and the zombies have just like started and they've attacked those guys and like one of them comes into the house and they don't realize it and then they realize the door is unlocked and they turn and look and then they go, oh! That was the action. That was the action that we all had. Is that your cat? Yes, you can hear him. That boy's too loud. Did it have sharp edges? It did. Yes, it did have sharp edges. Did you compare notes on it? Were there any differences with what you remembered? No, we all talked. Because there's 2 questions there. Yes and no. So we talked about it and we couldn't figure out what it was. We all saw the same color, the same shape. Yeah. So that was yeah. They just fell from the sky. You're talking about those blue embers and hit the ground. They appeared about 30 feet or so. Both happened in the summer during a dry period. Interesting. Did you ever look it up, like what it could be? Good night, Menno. Thanks for staying with us as long as you did. I know it's pretty late where you are. Any aliens we meet would likely be nowhere near as advanced as us, or would be so much more advanced than us, we wouldn't be able to relate to them. Yeah, I mean, just with terms of probability, what's the chance we're going to meet somebody exactly at this level of development? Don't know. Um, didn't find much. Probably something natural. Yeah, maybe static electricity. Something. That's the only thing I can really think of. Also, remember when I told you guys that demonology tab lit up when I didn't touch it? Now the live streaming tab lit up when I didn't touch it. So it's, you know, not the demons. It's just... Because that... What was his name? Marklar? Marbas? Yeah. If I get rich, like really rich enough to make a UFO-style aircraft, we can ride it just for fun. Would be up for joining me for encounters with random... We would need a good costume, though. The demon is now in the chat. No, we banished him. We banished him with very basic banishing spell of click on their name and remove. It's a very effective spell. On that note, though, watch your favorite scary movie and have a otherwise great time. If you guys are going to go out, wear your masks. Just wear your masks. Please. Don't even go out. Just have a Halloween event with like a video chat. Something. You know what I mean? Don't go out. There's no reason to there's no reason. Okay? Don't be crazy. We keep getting these stupid spreader events and it's just very frustrating and I hate it. If you have any really cool costumes, please share that in the chat. Not the chat, the Discord. That'll be really cool to see your guys' costumes. Or if you have like a, hey, here's the spread for the trick-or-treaters, you know, share those candies or something. If you know a good place where I can buy candy corn online that will ship to Korea for cheap, let me know. Because I haven't found candy corn in Korea and it's really expensive to ship. Because it's heavy, so it's too bad. All right, live long and prosper. Exactly. All right, have fun, guys. See you later. I know there's probably no cheap option. The cheapest option is probably just to fly somewhere that's close, you know, like Saipan, and just buy it there. You're going out, you're vaxxed and wear a mask. Yeah, go out. I mean, if you're just keep your mask on. That's all. And don't hang around people that won't keep their mask on. That's all. Do you know what I mean? That's all. If you're gonna go out and have fun. But just don't be like those idiots in Itaewon that are just no mask and just like this close to each other chatting with people that are that close to the I just can't. Really not looking to the fallout for this. Apparently orange crescent UFOs are a thing. Oh no! No! Why did you validate it? No! Orange crescent UFO. No. I don't want to see it. I'm scared. I don't know. I don't see one in the image. It gave me that vibe of when I heard about shadow people for the first time and I realized that was that thing that I saw, like, or, you know, it was consistent with that thing. If a 6-year-old girl sees you in the middle of the live stream, she sees a woman with blood on her face, but I see a beautiful girl with Halloween makeup. I don't know. Kids think it's fun. Kids think it's fun. But again, it is odd being called a girl when you're like 40. It's not just Itaewon. You saw some of that in Suwon. They're gonna get us. They're gonna be so mad at us. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, again, be safe. Don't be stupid. And especially if you are an immigrant, if you are a foreigner somewhere, anywhere, don't be stupid. Okay. Yeah, I saw the moon too, Tekken, so I got less scared. Hello, Disthrone. I'm so sorry we're ending the live stream right now. Mostly I don't wear a mask. I mean, please say that the joke is that you stay in your house. Sounds like you need the Pinoy Mafia. Why? I mean, if they can give me some balut, then that's good. Seems like I'm doing well. That's a seems like. That's what seems like. I mean, I think mentally I'm doing well. Physically, but mentally, yeah, I think so. All right, guys, have fun. Again, be safe, okay? If you guys are gonna go out, be safe. You searched on DuckDuckGo. Okay, I know I'm ending anyway. Sorry. All right, guys. Yeah. See you in the Discord. See you later. Bye bye.